And this is where we started until we collected these others overnight because of the hard work of our folks. We've been working with our partners at Lowe's, JCPenney, Home Depot, and Walmart. There's a new day. And that new day was established when we created a partnership with our business partners and said, look, there's not going to be any more of this shoplifting where you're charged with a misdemeanor, you're given a notice to appear and allowed to walk out of the store after you steal stuff. We're going to lock you up every time. And the reason for that is clear. In our crime fighting model, we know why they're not in the store stealing. They're other places stealing. And between what they steal at the stores and what they steal other places, this particular group, for the most part, used it for drugs. And heroin was the main drug of choice. However, they were known to use other drugs as well. Tina Morrison is charged with racketeering, a first-degree felony. She's charged with this first-degree felony, and she said that she used the money she made to support a $150 a day heroin habit. Now, what she would do is she would pick up some of these other folks, and especially the four at the bottom. You see, the top four are charged with racketeering because they organized it. It was an organized plan. The bottom four are charged with a variety of thefts and scheming to defraud. They would pick these folks up that were down and out on their luck. One of them actually lived at one of the homeless shelters. Then they would look for them. Tina would take them around to the various stores in an effort to steal. In every video clip we have, do you hear that, criminals? We got you on tape. In every video clip we had, old Tina was there. She didn't miss a one. She was the ringleader. Now, this investigation went on between April and August, but we did take a break for a couple of months. Do you know why? Because we had Tina in jail on other charges. And she told us, she said, while I'm not in jail, I'm out stealing to support my drug habit. And many times they would just, when they stole and then they would cash out their money, they would go buy the heroin or the drug and just divide the drug up as opposed to the cash. They're all Lakeland area people. This is what we call rasperts in life. Okay, these rasperts are just troublemakers, just thieves, just an absolute pain. But it's serious. She's gone from petty theft. They were intentionally keeping the value of the theft on each individual event under $300 because they thought it would always be a misdemeanor, a minor misdemeanor. She failed to recognize the racketeering laws when you create an organized criminal enterprise and then work together with others to steal. The reason it was possible for us to be successful is because of our corporate partners. And it is remarkable of how well we work together. Now, I want to give a little warning here. We know that the holiday season is fast approaching, and we know there's some thieves that are watching your news broadcast. I know it comes as a shock to you, but it's true. Listen to me. You're on tape. Our corporate partners are watching you, and we're going to lock you up. Merry Christmas. Keep your sticky fingers out of the stores and quit stealing unless you want to be eating pressed turkey and pressed ham on Thanksgiving and Christmas. Because we're working with them, because our police function our crime fighting model is we know if they're not stealing out of the stores, they're stealing out of the neighborhoods, and a lot of them are stealing to support a drug habit. You know that minor nonviolent event that some people want you to think is occurring? Willie Solomon just got out of prison. He was a pimp and was pimping ladies on Backpage. These are experienced criminals, experienced thieves, and they consciously try to fly under the radar by keeping low volumes and amounts of their theft. Well, it didn't work this time because, once again, my ORC detectives are the best in the business, and we've partnered with our retail outlets. Okay, now there's going to be someone that goes, well, you know, it's just shoplifting, and it's like the poor people who are victims of using drugs. All right, you need to get a clue too. This is a $48 billion a year industry stealing from our stores. Let me say that again for those of you who didn't catch it. It is a $48 billion a year industry to steal from stores. And here's a newsflash. The stores are passing that $48 billion along to us, the consumers, that are going in there and legitimately, legally buying. So we're all being ripped off, not just the stores, because the stores can't take that kind of loss and stay in business, so they pass it along. So when we stop them from stealing out of the stores, when we stop the store shrinkage, when we slow it down, we're saving us all money. And beside that, do you want to be in a store shopping with a bunch of hooligans in there? I don't want my family in there. And these stores make sure it's safe to shop. And they don't allow them to be in there. We put them in the county jail. Anything else? Any questions?
I want to understand the mechanism by which they did this. When I read the release, I thought that they would steal something, bring it up to the desk, and then get a gift card. But they would show ID. Was that the right ID? Would they show their own ID? And then they would use the gift card to buy something, take it to a pawn place, and then they would put their fingerprint down. Am I missing something here?
No, you're not. You're not missing anything. You know, I didn't tell you these people were Rhodes Scholars. You know, these are Rasperts. There's a difference. I mean, when they'll steal out of a store, take it up to exchange it, give them the right ID, take their gift card, go someplace else, swap it in for cash money. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about the stores. All they care about is being thieves and fueling a drug habit. You know that minor, nonviolent thing, drugs, that's, by the way, killing them. Look at old Robert Johnson. Robert, they call him Pops. Life's not been good to him. He's not that old. So we talked to him, tried to interview him. He looked us in the eye and he said, you know, I had a head injury 2 years ago and I don't remember nothing. Pops is not all that old.
How old?
I think he's 46, 48, something like that. I mean, he's not very old. He looks like he's 112. You know, so.
And from Polk County.
And yeah. But Pops has been in and out of jail. He's a Rasper. But make no mistake, these people know. They tried to keep the theft level under the radar to the misdemeanor level. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Yes.
Before you go, we couldn't make it yesterday. I was wondering
Yeah, yeah. First off, there were some stations that ran a banner that said gun control, just as you mentioned. Let me tell you something. You're looking at a Second Amendment proponent, a Second Amendment supporter. I think that good, honest citizens who care enough to learn how to handle guns ought to have one in every pocket. I'm for that. What I said yesterday had nothing to do with gun control and everything to do with devices that were being designed, manufactured, imported, created to make semi-automatic or normal legal firearms to function as if they were fully automatic firearms. And so that's why it's important to understand there is no useful purpose in those bump stocks, and there are other devices as well that allows the same exact thing. That's what I think the Congress needs to regulate, and regulate immediately. Let me take that a step further. Before I publicly took that position and did my press release, I talked to a lot of folks that are gun lovers, okay? They don't just own a gun. Arguably, one of the fellas, I'm not sure he could get all the guns he owns in this room. And he and the others told me there is no reason to have these bump stocks or other devices to make a semi-automatic or a normal firearm to function as if it's an automatic. They agreed. I talked to 2 licensed firearm dealers. They said the exact same thing. I can tell you the reasonable, rational people across this community, across this county, across this state and nation understand what they saw clearly that occurred in Vegas. They understand that. They understand it was a horrific act. The initial information coming out from the news is that the suspect used automatic weapons and or these devices to make a semi-automatic weapon act as an automatic weapon. Regardless of the outcome of that investigation, and I'm not speculating upon it, it brought to light this device that you put on a legal firearm to make it function as if it's an illegal firearm. So, my position is clear. I'm not advocating, I am not NOT advocating for gun control. What I'm advocating for first is criminal control. And the second thing I'm advocating is that these devices be regulated and taken away from people. Now, what's interesting about that, I had some people on Facebook say, oh, you're changing your position. You're not a Second Amendment supporter anymore. You know, despite all my statements to the contrary. Well, I sent up another statement. I said, well, I guess I'm in good company because the NRA took the same position I did yesterday. So if I'm no longer a supporter of the Second Amendment, neither is the NRA. There is absolutely no reason for those devices out here in the hands of people that are wanting to usurp current federal law, period. And if Congress doesn't weigh it down with other political positions and they don't pile on it, it's clearly something that can be supported on both sides of the aisle. In fact, 2 very staunch Republican congressmen, I talked to Dennis Ross, who is a friend of mine. He said, Grady, I not only support it, I'll file legislation. Send it to me. Tom Rooney says, Grady, he didn't say it directly to me through his aide because he was in a minute. If Dennis Ross is for it and Grady Judd's for it, then I'm for it. So we have a position here that if Congress will act and show some adult leadership, we can get this done. Okay, thank you all very much.